Hey guys, it's Cassandra Spicer from Beads to Live By. How's everybody doing tonight? I was having, let me know if the audio is at all weird because I was having some issues with my mic before I went live, but um, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So I was like already in set on time, and then it like took me probably 30 seconds longer to get on past the live time because I was desperately trying to make sure that I didn't blast you guys out with like echoing weirdness. So, oh, I've got my industrial size packages of beads here because I was like madly grabbing new colors as I was prepping, but I knew better. I started the live exactly an hour after the bead store closed, which I live very close. It's not a huge deal, but it's like really if I don't have things set up for the video ahead of leaving the house that morning, it's a little bit more than it needs to be. And I'm just realizing that I could have a little bit more light. So there you go. Oh, I'm gonna wait just a minute for some peeps to get on here, but I know this was a last minute schedule time. To be honest, last night I just was like overcome with exhaustion when I got home from work. I don't usually feel that way, and I just kind of listened to my body. I hadn't set up the live ahead of time, so I was gonna try to do one last night, and it just did not happen. For any of you that are not familiar with us or don't follow us on a regular basis, I had COVID 2 weeks ago. And so I think there's just times where my body still is just like a little bit depleted compared to what it was doing prior to that. But we also recently moved our retail store. So actually our entire warehouse for our website as well. So that's been a long and exhaustive process. So I think I'm just, at times still recovering from those types of things, but I can't do a live on Wednesday next week. So I figured, this week if I flip flop a day, with when we do it, and then next week I'm going to do the same thing. And Monday or Tuesday I'll do another video because I've got this cute little. So tonight we're going over this adorable bracelet. And it's a quick repeat. So the video is not going to be super long because once you get going, but I'm going to show you how to end the bracelet off because I have threads attached to the ends of this project still. And then next week, I am going to show off this adorable vine pattern. And this has all sorts of fun beads on it that are included in our curated collections. This one deviates a little bit and includes a bunch of our new super duos and mini duos that we have as well. But this one includes the brand new mini chevron bead. Look at that. It's like the end of the size of my pinky nail, and it is a 2-hole bead. How fun is that? That will be at least in the next 3 months worth of subscriptions. So April, May, and June. I'm ordering them quarterly as I can with the 2-hole beads, and then the seed beads get coordinated with those. So this month we've got a bunch of purples. Next month there might be some fun colors in it that I usually don't go very monochromatic, but I think the May colors are gonna be all about bright, fun colors that are kind of in a very specific range on the color wheel. So like just a chunk of it. But that is the project I plan to do the beginning of next week. So let's look at the supplies for tonight. Make sure I got this right. I actually did that ahead of time because I can, but I don't always think to do it the way that I can do that in advance. So we'll just bring all these guys out into the open here. I've got this 11, which is also one of the colors in the April curated collections. For those of you that don't know, that's the subscription that we do every month. We've got 2 options. The seed beads or the 2-hole beads. And then you can also do add-on bundles with fire polish and other things. So utilizing lots of that fun stuff tonight, which just made me realize that, oh, I don't have it near me. I was like, oh, I should have used one of the fire polish from the bundle. I'm going to go run and see if I can find it. So this is one of the 215s that's in the seed beads set this month. Turn my light off as I moved here. So I'm going to grab this bag of fire polish because I think it'd be better to use one of the ones you guys either got recently or are able to get. There we go. Just kind of a hot mess tonight. So I have to decide which. I think there's 3 colors of purple 3 millimeters in this. Yeah, definitely makes more sense to use one of these. But I think one of those 2 because I don't like the other fire polish option with my color of my mini duo. So we're going to use one of these 2. I think I'm leaning towards the matte transparent one. And then I've got this. So this is called Gold Shine Purple, and it's because the color finish. So there's a base color to your glass, and then there's usually at least one finish these days. And this is the Gold Shine Purple color. Get up there as close as I can so you can see it. So we'll pour some of these out. It's a little brighter than a lot of the purples that are in your subscription sets this month, but I think that it's gonna be a nice pop with everything. And I really like the sheen, that gold shine on top is really popping with this 15 that I'm using. And then I've got just a white silky. So the silkies used to be in our 2-hole subscriptions, and this is one of the featured colors from 2024. It's just a luster opaque white, but I was really feeling the like white and the purple and the orangey colors for like a really nice bright springy summery color combination. So this orange is really intense, especially under this light. This is a hyacinth white luster, and it is like everything. But the thing about, so the mini duo is the purple, the orange is the super duo. And the thing about the super duo is that you only have one in between each of your silky beads down the center of the bracelet. So it will not be quite as intense as it seems like laying out like this. So we'll pull off a few of these, and these might turn into earrings because I think that a section of a few, like 2 to 3 of these pieces would make a really good earring, but we'll see. I've already got one bracelet in this design, and I want to make like a dozen because I love the pattern so much. And on my first piece, I used a 6-pound thread. I really think that's too light, so I'm using an 8-pound thread tonight. Fireline makes a good 8-pound, and if you can't find that on our website, let me know. I do carry it. And then there's let's see, what other, I honestly don't know what you would use to replace an 8-pound Fireline, because the Wildfire, I think the thinnest is 10-pound, or did they just come out with something thinner? They might have just come out with something thinner, and I just haven't ordered it yet. So we do love our Wildfire. So make sure and take a screenshot if you need to do some shopping. I'm going to go back to a smaller little banner there and say hello to Lois. Yes, Lois. So that Gold Chime Purple is in the store. For my in-person customers, there's some things that are in the store, some things that are only online right now. The super duos you'd have to order on the website, but you can order for in-store pickup. So if you decide that you need some of these specific colors in your life, then you should definitely pop on the website and do some shopping. But oh, and that just reminded me, Lois, I need to look up those tools for you still. Sorry, sweetie. Oh, goodness. That's so funny. I looked at my note today and then I meant to put it with my laptop and I forgot. So I'm using about 2 yards of thread. I think that pretty much got me through the bracelet. So if I'm doing earrings, it's going to be like probably too much thread, but it's fine. I just want to make sure I have enough in case. And we are going to start with the following pattern of beads. We're going to use one size 11 seed bead, and then we will put on one of our mini duos. Oh, I need to cut my fire polish because I need one fire polish, and then a mini duo. And the fire polish are 3mm if you didn't catch that earlier. Mini duo, and then a seed bead. And this is like all purple. So we start with this sequence of beads, and it doesn't matter which hole on the mini duo, but just one hole. And then you're going to go through one hole of your silky. So see how the holes go through the corners. We're just going to go through one of those. And then you repeat that entire process with the seed bead, the mini duo, the fire polish, the mini duo, the fire polish, and the last mini duo and seed bead. And then we're going to do one last silky. So the very first step you do with projects like this is usually a little different than the repeats. So we'll go over, this is the start, and then we'll go over the repeats after that. So much purple here. That is your sequence for the beginning. And then you're going to take your tail. You want to leave like 8 to 10 inches of thread so that you can use this to make your clasp attachment. And you're going to cross over the tail and the needle end of the thread. So this ends up giving you a loop of beads, and then we're gonna tie that, and we're gonna go one more time through to create a double knot there. Don't tie this too tight. Leave yourself a little bit of like give, because these beads are flipping. Oh, sorry guys, flipping outward right now, the mini duos, and we're gonna pull them in after we get into position. So I would say it wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe reinforce this whole section. And when I say reinforce, what I mean is you start going through the beads. So my knot is over on this side. And so I start from where my knot's at, go through a bead, and just keep going through anywhere the beads are attached. So it's not... I'm already feeling a little better tension because my thread's a little thicker this time. So the 8-pound is definitely a good choice. I'm guessing you could get away with a 10-pound in the Wildfire, but I didn't want to chance it and not have it work. So coming out of a mini duo, going towards a silky on that exterior hole right now, we're going to turn and we're going to go through the open hole of the mini duo opposite direction. So you're making a U-turn on that mini duo. And I'm actually going to move my sample a little bit out of the way because I feel like I'm going to have a thread catastrophe soon. So I'm going to flip my work around a little bit because I want to catch the tail still sticking out in the way there. I'm coming out of that mini duo there. I want to go through the next two. So these are like very spread out right now. You're not adding any beads between them because as you go through their holes and you pull them towards the center, that is going to create a connection between them that will close off the opening. And you're going to see this whole process again. So don't panic if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the information. So when you exit that third mini duo it's technically your interior hole. Once you pull it in, you're going to add 115, one super duo, and 115. And I know those 15s are hard to see. They're pretty transparent. And then we're going to go through, we're going to cut across to the opposite side of our bracelet, the open hole of the mini duo on that side that's closest to the same mini duo we're coming out of on the other side, and we're going to pull all of that together, and then we're going to go through the next 2 mini duos again like we did previously. Now this part is all going to feel a little bit like not quite right because that super duo in the middle is just kind of hanging out there. We're adding 115, and we're going to go through that super duo. So we're working on the side that we have been on and going the other direction over to the other side of the bracelet. So 115, go through the last open hole of that super duo. And then you see how you've got 3 15s, they're glowing in the center beside that super duo. The fourth one's going to sit over here. So we're going to add 1 more 15 and go through. This is the very first mini duo you did the U-turn on that you started with. And we're going to go through that mini duo. So once we pull everything together there, it's going to be way super fun, bright, summery bracelet. And then we're going to go through a couple more beads. So we're going to go back through the next 2 mini duos. And this is, again, the interior now of your work. And then I think doing a U-turn here is as easy as anything else at this point. So you're going through, you can go through as many beads as you can get through on the exterior once you get through that edge of that mini duo. And then we're going to go through again. Our goal here, just so you know where we're headed, this is the start of the bracelet. This is where you're going to attach a clasp on one end. So once you get all of the beads attached and in place on this section, you're working towards this end so that we can get to the next spot to add another section to the bracelet. So you're just going to continue through. Like right now, I'm coming out of fire polish, going through another mini duo. And this part is a tricky thing because your fire polish kind of stick out from the mini duos enough that as you try to stick your needle through the beads, it's like one bead at a time, and even that can be kind of hard. But there, I got through a couple more there. So that works out. And then we're going to take our needle and we're going to go this direction through our silky. So right now our thread is coming out of that size 11. We're going to go through the silky. The part that's already been utilized, the hole. And then just like with those mini duos, we're going to do a U-turn. So we're coming out of the one hole. We're going to go the opposite direction through the other hole, the silky. So that is one section. This all by itself would make a super cute earring if you're not a long earring person. Gosh, I would make just a ton of combinations like this if I was gonna go about that. But yeah, it's looking really pretty. I think when I work through the rest of my project, I might change out my 11s because these ones feel a little dark for this. Like I might actually even switch it up to an orange color because I think that would help pull the orange out a little bit more, or maybe a gold. But I'm loving the combination in general. This project, I wouldn't mind redoing it a million times because I love how it looks so much. And I'm super excited about it. So we're going to keep going. From this silky, it is almost a direct repeat from the very beginning, but I'll show you the difference. We're adding all of the same beads as far as the mini duos, the 11s, and the fire polish. So you do that sequence of 1 11 and then a mini duo, a fire polish, a mini duo, a fire polish, a mini duo, and 1 more 11. And then we are going to add 1 new silky, go through 1 hole. Hi, Monique. Thanks so much, Lois. And then again, repeat that sequence of an 11, a mini duo, a fire polish, a mini duo fire polish, a mini duo, and an 11. Sorry, guys, I lost track of what I was adding at that point. So this is what your work will look like. You're coming out of the one silky. This is like as if you had added a silky. And then you've got that sequence of other beads, the silky, and the same sequence again of the other beads. So you take all of that and you take your needle and you're going to go back through the silky from the end that you did not start from. So your thread's coming, oops, sorry guys, it's out of focus. Your thread's coming out of this end and your needle is going to go through the opposite end. When you are done pulling your thread taut, and the difference for me between taut and tight is like things are rigid. Taut is like you don't see loose thread between the beads, but you don't have rigidity. I have a hard time saying that word. So when you pull everything taut, not tight, you've got that going on. And now it's a direct repeat, which we will go over one more time. So we've got a whole line of beads on this side that I'm just going to go through again, all the holes we just went through, except for we're going to come out of the mini duo. So you start at the one silky and then work towards the opposite silky, but you're going to come out of your mini duo. And your thread is coming out of that. Right now it's the interior hole, so you're going to go through the exterior hole, the opposite direction of the same mini duo. Just remember the exterior holes on these beads right now are going to become the interior holes because these mini duos are just flopping out right now. They're going to get turned back inward. So we're going to go through the next two mini duos like so. And then we're going to add a 15, a super duo, and a 15. I'm making sure that my super duo holes are not plugged, and this one kind of looks like it is, so I'm skeptical. Ha! I did catch it. It's hard to see the holes on some of those super duo colors, so I don't always notice until it's in my project. All right, so 115, one super duo, and 115 is what I have on my needle right now, and pulled it down a little bit. I'm going to go from, I'm coming out on the right-hand side of the screen right now of that mini duo, and I'm going through this opposite side, but same level of mini duo. And we're going to pull all this stuff so that, again, probably more taut than tight, but we do want to pull those mini duos inward and have some structure. And then we're going to go through these next two mini duos like so that are still kind of hanging out. And once we get these guys into place, we're going to add a 15. And we're going to go through this part of the super duo. And then we're going to add one more 15. And then go through the mini duo you started with in the very beginning of that process. Do you guys remember on ponds and maybe even lakes, there's those water bugs? At least in Michigan, we have them. And they look like they're walking on the water. Their little tiny feet kind of like skim the top. And then they have these little, and the way that their feet are shaped, this is reminding me of those. I got it stuck in my head earlier when I was looking at as the pattern came together, and I could not stop picturing those darn bugs. So I'm going to go through the next two mini duos just for the sake of having a little extra structure through there. And then we're going to go back through. We're going to do our U-turn on that mini duo that we're working with right now. And then we're going to continue along the outside now of this part of the bracelet until we get to the silky. So the great thing about the videos is if you get to that silky and you're like, shoot, what do I do? Because I'm not going to sit and make the entire bracelet on video. You guys would get really bored of hearing me talk. Then you can just like pause and rewind the video so that you can see where you go from once you hit that silky. Because you're going to hit the silky, you're going to come out of the hole you've been using, and you're going to do your U-turn, and then that's when you start adding beads again after you come out of that open hole. Because if you start adding beads from the hole that had already been used, you're going to have a wonky bracelet. Nobody wants a wonky bracelet. So this is a really fun. I'm not much of a purple person when it comes to like my clothes and things, I don't think. Of course, last time I said that about pink, it's like, look, now I'm wearing pink all the time. But if I had like a corally orange mixed in here, it would go with a lot of things that I wear for sure. So either way, I'm just loving the summery vibes from this. And let's look at how we go about attaching a clasp to this, because I think that's really a good part of this to know. And I was feeling kind of embarrassed that I left my project unfinished from the sample to start, but now I'm feeling like it was just meant to be because you guys will get to see how to do this. So this piece of thread I'm attaching I'm putting through my needle right now is the, sorry, I've got a hair in my mouth that was driving me crazy. This is the tail from my project. So this is like an 8 to 10 inch piece of thread that I'm going to put on my needle right now. Yes, Lois, this purple does look like hyacinths, and I have grape hyacinths all over my yard, more so in the front yard. And I'm not sure why, but we actually transplanted some of them into our back garden because they're so pretty. They've got like all the little tiny bell-shaped flowers on them, and they smell good. I can't believe that they're just like popping up. So I think I started this bracelet a little bit differently than the one that we were just working on, because this was my test run. So I'm going to move my thread through a few beads so that I'm kind of close to where maybe I was coming out of in the other project, but I guess I could just look at that to confirm that, why, yes, I am headed in the right direction. Oh. Are you guys excited to start one of these bracelets or earrings? You could even do like a set of 3 sections and then wear it as a pendant, I think, too, like a daintier pendant on a chain or a line of beads. So I think roughly where you started your knot, where your tail thread should be coming out, is between an 11 and a silky. So once you're there, all you're going to do is turn your needle and go do your U-turn through that silky so that you're coming out. You just want your thread to be coming out of the end of that silky bead. And then grab the other end of my clasp here, because I did already attach the clasp on the other side. I'm going to add 3 15s. I think that might be the magic number, and 1 11. So 3 15s and 1 11. It's hard to see those 15s. We're going to go, oh, and I almost used the colors from the wrong project. So let me just go grab those seed beads. Oh, I appreciate how much you guys put up with from me as far as bloopers go. Just have to scoop up a few of these beads that I used in the other project. Here we go. Back. Oh dear, I didn't factor that in when I was like, oh, I can show everybody how to do this on the original bracelet. So 3 15s, 1 11. And then you're going to go through the loop of your clasp there. And then we're going to go back through that 11 towards the project. So like if you are counting the way your needle faced originally, it would have been away from the project. So now you're going towards it. And then we're going to do 3 more 15s. And we're going to go through the opposite side of the silky from where we started. So see how all your beads are hanging off to one side, and then there's the open hole. You want to go through the open hole. Yeah, I only use 2 15s on the other end, and this is like the perfect amount. It also will depend on your brand of 15s and the way that they sit too. So we're going to take our needle and go back through everything again. So I've got the first 3 15s and my 11. I go back through the clasp hole, and then you just want to hold it so that you remember which direction you started from, because then you're going to go through the 11 and down through the other set of 3 15s. So not the ones you came up through this last time. And then through the silky one more time. So you will have thread on both sides of the silky. Pick your thread color accordingly, because you're going to go through that. You're going to do a U-turn on the side of the silky and go through that interior hole again. But the way bracelets sit, you don't usually see thread that sits this way very much on the sides of the 2-hole beads. So it's not a big deal, I think, especially when you can do all these fun things if you are okay with having it that way. And then once you come to a few beads away from the silky, that's all you have to get, all the further you have to get in order to make your knot. So these knots are in any stitching video I do almost, but you go underneath the thread that's between your 2 beads. You've got a loop that starts to form, and you go through the loop, and then you pull that down. And you're going to do that one more time. So under the thread between the beads, make a loop that you go through and then pull that tight. And then I just go through 1 or 2 more beads so that my knot is set in between the beads a little bit. And then that way I can trim that thread without having to worry about catching my knot. So I'm hopefully going to be able to redo the other end to match this as far as the amount of beads I end up using. But that's, I don't want to say my signature attachment, because I'm sure I did not come up with it, but with these ball and socket clasps and with toggles and other types of closures we like to use, it's one of my favorite ways to bring a point to either a multi-hole or a multi-attachment project. So if you have more than one strand of something, or however that's working for you. But so much fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. This will be available for replay. We've got lots of gorgeous colors of all of these beads available on our website, both under the curated collections and then under the 2-hole beads, under the seed beads. You'll see things outside of the curated collection still available with regards to the 15s, the silkies, and then of course those super duos and mini duos are not part of the 2-hole curated collection. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I can't wait to see what you're making. If you're working on things that include our seed beads or other types of beads that we sell, and then and or include projects we've shared with you or classes you've taken from us, you can share any and all of those things in our Facebook group called Beads in Progress. It's just something I started sometime after we started teaching online classes and doing more of these types of videos, because something that our customers always said they really enjoyed about in-person classes is that they love seeing what everybody else is doing. So we really wanted to bring that to our online customers and community here. And that way you guys can share ideas about colors and maybe design changes that you've worked through, or even problems you're having, questions. But it's just a really fun place to hang out and bead. So that's that's my project for tonight, guys. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you all around very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks so much, Lois. I appreciate you being here. And Monique. Bye bye.